everybody. Alright, today we're doing a gardening class. We're planting some stuff, so it's a good thing to have. Today we're planting herbs, and we have two of them that are great for garnishes. They're great for just enhancing flavor to meals that you have. But the first thing you have to do is make sure that you get them, potted up, ready to go. So, and typically herbs do best in pots. Some of them, maybe you can plant if you want to get a ton of it. But really, you pot it, you cut some off, and as long as it's in season and the weather's right and you water it correctly, they'll keep popping up. First thing I need, though, is my PPE, personal protective equipment. Make gloves. I'll put my gloves on. Like Donkey Kong. Just kidding. Maybe he wears gloves sometimes. I'm not Donkey Kong. We're going to put our gloves on. Just to protect ourselves from, any accidents or anything like that. What we have here is dill. Now, dill is amazing. Dill is a plant that, people use it for pickling. You can use it as a garnish if you're making eggs, if you're making all sorts of different dishes. So you're making a sauce. Dill is wonderful to go in there. So we have dill. And then we have chives, which we used for the egg, the scrambled recipe just a few days ago. But again, it's very versatile. There's a lot of things that you can do with chive. Again, it can go with eggs, it can go on steak, it can go with salmon, it can go into a sauce, again, for any sort of thing that you really want. What I love about these is it kind of, for herbs, they hit every person. Every person is counted in when it comes to herbs. Like if you're a omnivore like I am, vegetables as well as eating meat. But if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, definitely this is the stuff that people want because it can be used anywhere and people still feel okay eating it. Alright, so first things first is we're going to plant the dill. Because I have this pot here, it's a blue pot. I've got it here, and there's not a ton of soil in there, so the soil that I take out of here to plant the dill in, I'm going to transfer that over here. But, it's going to be a process. It's going to, you're going to learn as we go. So first things first, it's already placed quite well. Take the tag out. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an incision into the soil. We've seen this before. For those of you that have taken my gardening class, this is very good. For those of you that haven't, welcome. Alright, so we're going to dig this out. I'm just going to put this over to the side right now because, again, I'm going to use it later. So, I'm going to squeeze it over. Use your shovel. It's a great tool. I've never been so fond of a shovel as when people showed me how to use one. Because they're actually very good tools. And I like tools. For every job, there's a perfect tool. Now what we're going to do is we're going to break up the bottom a little bit. Make sure your fingers are around the base. You don't want to hurt the plant. Because these are already rooted in down at the bottom. And we're going to flip it. Put that to the side. We're going to put that right in there. There we go. Now we're going to use some of the soil that's left over to pack it in. We want this to be happy dill. My brother's named Dylan. I don't know. Side story. Always call him Dill. So I'm thinking of him right now. Because, you want to make sure Dill's happy. Alright, so there you go. Nice and packed in. You got yourself a nicely planted dill. With a lot more space. See, it was just in a little container. Now it's got all the space for those roots to just break out. Now we're going to put in the chives. Alright. We're going to chive it up. Take out the tag there. Now this, it's different. It's a smaller pot. It's really well made. But, I want to make sure that I have enough soil for the chives to thrive. So I'm going to dig out a spot. I'm going to take out this stuff. And what I'm going to do is kind of get a nice area down at the bottom. And then what I'm going to do is after I plant this here is pack everything around it. All this extra soil. I want to fill it up all the way to the rim. And that way we got ourselves a nice happy chive. It might have gone a little bit too low, so I'm going to put some more in there. I'm going to put a little more just down at the bottom there. But there's also soil here inside the chive plant. So again, we get our fingers around the base. Just kind of lightly crackle it. Break it up. You can feel it moving. That's the way you know you're doing it right. Alright. Boom. Look at all those roots ready to be planted in. That is a happy look. And we're going to put this chive plant in. Let it set. But then, like I said, we want to fill in. You see, there are a lot of gaps. I hope you can see that. There's a lot of gaps here, 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 here. All around the sides. So that we want to fill in. So we're going to take our extra soil and we're going to fill in those gaps. Because, again, the point is a happy plant is a successful plant. It's like us. If you treat someone well, they feel well, they'll do better. If you don't treat them correctly, life becomes harder. So it's our job as people to turn this around, to help each other, make each other feel better. And it's our job as cultivators of plants to make sure that they're happy. And I want to make sure that this is stabilized and kind of as upright as possible. So again, just fill in those gaps. And then we have ourselves some chives. Okay, so now what we have is we have this excess. We're just going to sprinkle this around. This is well full. And we don't want to waste any of, as little of the soil as possible. Any is a kind of it's not a term that we should use in this situation. Because no matter what, soil's going to get away. And it's not a huge problem. Alright, so I have also, we have a last step. I got to take my gloves off for a second. Well, like I said, there's different things you can do. So one thing I'm going to tell you about, I haven't made it yet. I might do it for a cooking class with these once they're more well established. But one thing you can really make out of this is a compound butter. Now, compound butter is just butter sort of repurposed with different elements in it, such as dill and chive. So I looked up a recipe for you. And in order to make compound butter, it's really actually easy, but it's so fantastic. It can work on steaks, fish. I mean, really, you can put it on anything, and it makes it taste better. It's not the healthiest thing, but man, is it good. So all you would need is you would want 1 stick of butter, which is a half a cup, and you want it softened. So like leave it out overnight. Make sure it's softened up. 1.5 teaspoons of lemon juice, a half a teaspoon of salt, a clove of garlic, and then you want to mince that. And then you want 3 tablespoons of fresh parsley. Is what this asks for. What I would do, since this is what we have, you do 1.5 tablespoons of dill and 1.5 tablespoons of chive, which will equal out those 3 tablespoons. And that way, though, you get different flavors. You're going to get that dill. You're going to get that chive. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. And, pepper's always good to go with anything. Now, you don't really need salt because butter is already pretty salty. So, go with the pepper. That's just to add that extra. Then what you want to do is combine all the ingredients that you have ready to go, your mise en place, everything in its place, and mix well until well combined. And then once you're done, you want to take a piece of saran wrap, basically. Take what you've made, put that on the saran wrap, and roll it into a log. Twist the ends. You kind of roll it up like a burrito, then you twist the ends. And refrigerate at least for an hour. And you're good to go. You've got yourself some compound dill and chive compound butter, and it will be fantastic. Now, we're almost done. Not quite. Throw my phone over on my hammock. What we need to do next, as we always do, is we want these plants to be happy. And how do we make them happy? Plants need what? They need sunlight, and they need agua. So we're going to water these in. That way it'll make them very happy. So here we go. I'm going to water in the dill first. Nice and slow. Watering in the dill. Watering in the dill. Give it just a nice good soak right around the base of it. To help those roots want to grow. Some people say roots. I say roots. And see, this is a much bigger pot, so it's going to need more water. And eventually all of this will trickle down and out of the bottom. Alright. Now we got ourselves somewhere. That seems good for now. Now this one's the chives are going to need less water because it's in a smaller pot. but we're still going to water it. Make sure it's happy chive, thriving chive. Really give it some water. And again, I'm pretty much done watering it now, just because this is a much smaller pot than this one. Might give this one a little more water. Oh, that's too powerful. Whoa! I exploded it. Okay. Well, now we got ourselves some dill, some chives. You get yourself a recipe for some wonderful compound butter. Hope you use it. Give it a shot. Like I said, once you're done, after it's been sitting in the fridge, the compound butter, use it. Slice a slice, put it right on a steak, let it melt in, and then all these flavors, boom, they come right out at you. Alright. I miss y'all. Gotta turn off the video now. I'm gonna see you soon, I hope.